Tuesday, January 7th. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett, streaming live on News 6 Plus and clickorlando.com. I'm Bridgett Ellison. Good to be with you. Hope you're keeping warm. It's going to be a cold day today, so if you like it cold, you're going to enjoy it. And if you don't like it cold, hopefully you're going to keep warm. And Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is going to get us ready for the day and how long these temperatures will stick around. It's not going to warm up a whole lot today. And today we're talking to a doctor live, chatting about what's going around. You've probably been hearing about this spike in norovirus. So we'll find out, how to tell the difference of what these different bugs are and when you need to go to a doctor, what you need to stock up on, what works, what doesn't work, et cetera, et cetera. That's coming up in about 15 minutes. But first, we want to get you ready to head out. So let's head over to the Pinpoint Weather Center and Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos and Crystal Moyer standing by there.
You know what?
They're
That
chatting it up.
they're
Hello,
trying to-
ladies. Having a little coffee talk without me, huh?
Hold on.
It's okay.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Did you catch me not paying attention?
Oh, I thought that this was part of it. I thought it was part of the setup. Kind of like, oh, well, hello there.
Oh, me just sitting here, toasting my hands on the
Keep it
fireplace.
warm.
You know what we were talking about, Bridgett? It's
Chestnuts
all the
roasting on an open
behind.
fire.
No, we were actually talking all about the ins and outs and all what could happen in Wicked.
Oh, okay. I've got to
All
catch
the
up on
all
that.
the folklore conspiracy things about Wicked.
Okay, because this is
And
like
who's
part
and who-
one. Part one is the part that just came
Part
out.
1, part 2. Yeah. So
Okay.
Crystal did never watch the actual show.
Mhm.
Bless you. Never watched the actual show. So there's a lot of stuff in Act 2 that she didn't know about.
See,
so
I haven't watched the whole thing. I remember going. We had tickets one time to go here at the station, and I went, but then I had to leave
Mhm.
early because I had to come do the morning news, so I had to go to bed.
you
So I
know,
didn't get to see the whole
it's not
Wicked.
nice when work gets in the middle of enjoyment.
Just keeps happening.
Just why is that? But you know what? Listen, at the end of the day, it is a chilly start across
Mhm.
parts of Central Florida. We all got our sweaters on. Now, temperatures out the door this morning, we're down into the 30s and 40s. But when you actually factor in the breeze, right now it feels like the 20s and 30s. So a big portion of Central Florida. Now, I do want to get on a little soapbox if you can just give me a quick minute
Sure.
here. Midnight temperatures are not the coldest temperatures. You always think, what's the middle of the night would be the coldest. Well, that's not the case. The coldest is actually what's happening right now. This is when we tend to get the coldest air right before the sun really comes up and starts warming us up. So if you were going to bed late last night, it was 10, 11 o'clock, you're like, it's still in the 60s. Well, the
Mhm.
front barely even got here yet at that point in time. So that is why temperatures are going to continue to tumble throughout the next few hours. And then they're going to try to gain some momentum warming back up into the afternoon. But I do want to first start off with the 7-day here to show you what we're talking about when it comes to how cold it's going to be. So there's your high. Maybe if you can take me off the little box there. High of 55 degrees. Perfect. Thank you, Kathleen. 55 will be your high today. And you know that little icon there? That is the weather alert day that we're expecting to see. Can you grab me the clicker real quick? Oh, sorry. I was like looking for my clicker. I'm like, where? I thought I just had it. Temperatures for this afternoon are going to only be into those mid 50s. So just do be aware that even though we have a lot of sunshine, we're not going to get there past the 60-degree mark. Now look at the wind chill, Bridgett. When you factor in the breeze, right now it feels like 28 degrees in Ocala. It feels like 36 from Stanford through Orlando and Kissimmee. But notice Palm Coast, Daytona Beach, technically your feels like temperature is below freezing. Now, with that being said, a feels like temperature is an estimate of an equation that we factor in the breeze. The actual air temperature, what it says and reads on the thermometer, is temperatures right now are at 36 in Ocala, 40 in Leesburg, 43 in Orlando, 43 as well there in Cocoa Beach. So because of that, all of Central Florida, for the most part, is under a cold weather advisory for another hour and a half or so as temperatures still can continue to drop. So let's show you here one more time. This is highs in the mid 50s this afternoon. Along our coastal communities, it will be hard to even reach 60 degrees as well. So certainly well below the average of 72. That's where we should be for the beginning of January. And then as we head into Wednesday, it will be another chilly night. Not as much of a breeze in place this evening, but still chilly back into the upper 30s, low 40s. Then highs will try to warm up a little further. But for the most part, most of our viewing area throughout the 9 counties we cover, Wednesday and Thursday, we could be staying in the 50s. Then as we head into Friday and Saturday, temperatures are going to try to warm back up, still below average, mid 60s on Saturday. But we are watching another cold front. This one is actually bringing with it some Gulf moisture. Could be bringing another mess for folks who maybe have family or friends or traveling to the deep south. The mid-Atlantic states could have another round of that rain and snow and ice mix that they've been dealing with the past couple of days. But as of right now, Bridgett, the majority of our next 10 days, it looks like we're still going to be staying below average, below that low 70s. We have a big jet stream right now. The fun verbiage is the polar vortex, right? It's just basically a low that came in from the poles, right? And is tends to be a little stronger than just a typical cold front. So that polar vortex is basically a big dig in that jet stream. And that dig in that jet stream over the eastern seaboard is what sends all those cold fronts into central Florida. So we could continue to get enough of those to at least keep us a bit on the cooler side. So if you like the cool weather, you're going to like today. Is this going to be a big weather alert day concern all day? It's not. The weather alert day really is focusing in the next few hours because of that wind chill, what it actually feels like to the body.
Right. And I'm thankful that at least we've got plenty of sunshine on the way. That'll help out in the afternoon.
Right.
Sort of
Yeah.
just that
Sometimes, you
impression.
get those. Right. And sometimes you get those cloudy skies and highs don't warm up much. It's kind of like an uncomfortable, kind of muggy cold. This is not the case. It's going to be, nice and sunny outside, nice and cool. So it might be, real comfortable in the sunshine, but the moment you get into the shade, especially if that breeze picks up, it will bring a little shiver down your spine.
Right. Maybe a good yard work day.
That's a great,
Right?
that or just, just being outside. Just grab a book, sit outside on the porch. Oh, does that sound nice?
Refreshing.
Yes, it does.
I like it. All right. Thanks, Candace.
We'll do more of a deep dive of Wicked later.
Yes. We have to catch up on that. I need to do a little bit of studying anyway before I watch it. So
yeah, well, blame Crystal. We got into it. This always happens when Crystal's filling in.
No singing.
Steve's not as chatty as Crystal.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, Crystal. Hey there. Thanks for being with us.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us.
I'm just not going to talk.
You know what? So you finished watching it.
What, we're talking about Wicked?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I saw it in theaters with my husband, and then I bought the digital version. So, I mean, I've seen it several times.
Oh, goodness. All right. So
if you care to find me, look to the western sky.
I need to know if your husband liked it. I'm guessing
he cried. I guess it just depends on.
You just caught him in a good mood. Okay. Well, anyway, we have a lot.
Those of you not flying on broomsticks, maybe you're driving around town. Let's get to traffic.
Yes.
We are dealing with a couple of crashes here. The first one is over in Orange County near Apopka, Orange Blossom Trail and Fudge Road. This one's off to the side, not blocking any lanes. Down in Osceola County near Kenansville, you're going to see a crash off to the right-hand shoulder. You can see the road rangers on scene, FHP out there working that crash. Not seeing any lanes blocked, and traffic is moving just fine, but make sure you move over to that left lane to give those troopers and the road rangers and those involved in this wreck plenty of space until they can get that vehicle towed away. We do have another wreck, this one in Brevard County, causing some slowdowns along the beach line. 528 eastbound near A1A before you hit that bridge over to Merritt Island. You're going to see a lane blocked there. You can see that patch of orange where there's some delays. And then we are starting to see some delays, heavy delays heading westbound along I-4. This is over near Lake Mary. So that means it's going to affect your drive time. If you're trying to head downtown, you're in the red. Heading westbound along I-4 between 417 and 50, 31 minutes. 31 minutes heading east between and State Road 50. So just allow some extra time. And of course, kids are back in school. So I know a lot of us kind of forget about the school buses and the kids walking and riding their bikes to school. We need to get back into that
Yeah.
mindset.
Yep. And now these like speed zone cameras too. Remember those are there too. Safety first. So.
Yeah, those are there.
All right. Well, you know what? We have that package coming up about the best car brands. So that's pretty interesting that you put together.
Yes, obviously, if you're in the market for a car, it's difficult. I feel like cars, the costs are high, even for used vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So, Consumer Reports, they test hundreds of vehicles. They take them home. They do a bunch of drive tests, and they release their rankings of best car brands of 2025. So you'll want to stick around and check that out.
Yeah, the number one. It might surprise you, it might not. So we're looking forward to getting to that too. All right, Crystal. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
I'll talk to you about Wicked later. All right. So we do want to get to a little bit of news. Then we will have a live interview with the doctor this morning about the increase in norovirus. But first, today, Monique Worrell will be sworn back into office for state attorney. She was removed by the governor back in 2023, you may remember, but she ran again and was reelected. And she's also having a show of public solidarity before taking the office. And News 6's Mark Lehman has more on what's happening today.
Nearly a year and a half after being removed from office, Monique Worrell is taking back over as Orange and Osceola County State Attorney. She'll be sworn in this morning after winning re-election over Andrew Bain, who we caught up with on his last day in office.
So we're going to continue to do our work today. So I'm happy to see what's going on.
In December, Bain sent staff an email saying he wouldn't help with the transition because of the executive order removing Worrell on accusations of neglect and incompetence. He later released a statement saying he was willing to ensure a smooth transition.
We reached out. She's seen me on multiple occasions and still has to talk to me. So that's what it is.
Governor DeSantis appointed Bain after suspending Worrell in August 2023. He accused her of being too lenient on offenders.
I know that today's decision, we had a duty to act to protect the public.
After winning re-election just over a year later, Worrell spoke with News 6 investigator Louis Bolden, acknowledging concerns the governor could target her again.
I have to, while doing those things, also consider the fact that I may never actually make it to the seat that the people elected me to go to.
Well, after 3 hours of debate, the city of Edgewater voted to put a stop on construction for right now. They've had a lot of flooding concerns there. Of course, you know, we just got through hurricane season, and it's been a rough go of it for a while now. So the moratorium not only impacts new projects, but annexations and rezoning for at least the next year. The city's working to figure out how to solve these flooding issues in neighborhoods that do get worse in the storm seasons. And during the pause, the city says it's investigating flooding issues and working on long-term solutions, including upgrades to the storm water system. And now to a discussion about the same thing in Orange County. And some say it's time for a moratorium in the Horizon West area, not far from Disney. It's a booming area, but many people are worried about those same types of concerns. Here's News 6's Angie Casada.
After Hurricane Milton left parts of Orange County flooded, Reams Road and surrounding neighborhoods are still grappling with the aftermath. County leaders say rapid development in the Horizon West area has contributed to higher water levels and an increase in traffic hazards.
There was really catastrophic flooding following Ian. I was told at the time that it was a 1 in 500 year storm. And here we are 2 years later, and people in that area are dealing with the same issues.
To combat these issues, Orange County commissioners will meet to discuss temporary measures, including a possible moratorium on new development. Currently, only critical roadway infrastructure projects would be exempt.
I'm here at the intersection that's been underwater more than once due to the storms. It's also the area that Commissioner Wilson has explained the urgency on this issue. She says the flooding doesn't just pose a threat to homes, but could also leave some residents completely isolated during future storms.
Well, this road was supposed to have been designed and built elevated. And there were plans that originally, before I got into office, said that that would be something that we'd be close to finishing right now. And somehow that managed to get pushed down the road.
County staff will present a recap of flooding issues from last October and outline strategies, short-term fixes, and longer-term solutions.
Angie Casada, Getting Results, News 6.
All right. Of course, always keeping you posted on all those stories and more at clickorlando.com, and more updates coming up on News 6 at noon and 4 p.m. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with a family doctor from Orlando Health to talk about this rise in norovirus around the area as well as what's going around. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. The time now is 7:47. We've been talking about your health a lot lately. We had a story on Friday last week, and Angie covered the spike in norovirus cases. So we wanted to take a deeper dive into that. And this morning we have Orlando Health Family Doctor Chirag Panchal with us. Once again, good to see you, Doc.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We've been talking about this spike in norovirus cases. Can you sort of sum it up for us? Because I would imagine that norovirus is sort of always out there, like a lot of these illnesses that spike certain times a year.
Absolutely. And the cases are high in Florida right now. There was just something published that Florida ranks second in the nation for norovirus outbreaks right now. So it is going around. Common symptoms are going to be nausea and stomach upsetness, as well as a watery diarrhea. And it's very contagious, highly contagious.
How do you really tell the difference from that versus flu and COVID and all these other things, RSV? We've been talking about so many different illnesses right now.
That is a great question. Mostly this is going to be a stomach bug. So you won't get those other flu or COVID type symptoms like, the muscle aches, the fatigue, the high spiking fevers. You typically won't have that with norovirus.
Okay. And we were talking about what you can stock up on to sort of be ready during this time of year, since it is, lots of things going around with people traveling, going back to school, and just lots of people indoors more, like on days like today when it's more cold weather and people sort of huddle inside. And so that means more germs. So what can we stock up on to really be ready for pretty much anything?
Great question. The colder weather does draw people more indoors, and the colder weather does also allow some viruses to live on surfaces more. So soap and water, norovirus, the alcohol-based sanitizers like your hand sanitizers just aren't as effective. So plenty of soap and water. Make sure you're washing your hands, especially with children and little ones. Make sure they're getting their 15 to 30 seconds of washing their hands. Bland foods in the house is also always a good idea in case you do get this. Your saltines, your crackers, your plain broths. Hydrating solutions, things like Gatorades, Powerades, the sugar-free ones if you can. Pedialyte, those have good electrolytes too for the little ones. Those are always good staples to have around your house.
What about vitamins and all that theory around making sure, you have the right hydration, rest, vitamins? What types of supplements do you like to give the family or stock up on? Or foods?
A multivitamin is typically always a good idea for folks. If you're pregnant or planning to become pregnant, a prenatal vitamin, so that's going to have the extra nutrients that you need to support a growing baby, are also essential to have in your household.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to orange juice or, fresh fruits and vegetables, is that going to give you a better punch than, say, taking the vitamins, or just take both? Or can you really get too much of it? I know that when I was a kid, I used to have to take vitamin C every day.
Yeah. Your body does a great job of regulating. If it's got too much, it will get rid of it. So if you can do both, go ahead and do both. Just be careful with all the added sugar in some of these over-the-counter juices.
Okay. And when it comes to coming in, what would be the best, rule of thumb for if we need to probably go ahead and try to get into a doctor, like some of the bullet points to keep in mind? Because sometimes it's more risky to come in, maybe if you should just stay home. So when do you tell people just stay home and ride it out?
Absolutely. Coming to the doctor's office or an urgent care or anything like that, you can potentially expose yourself to other things. So generally, I tell folks with norovirus, it's a self-limiting condition, meaning it will pass within about 2 to 3 days. So you should expect to turn the corner. Now, you may not feel 100% better, but you might feel about 80 to 90% better. Those are good signs. At-risk population, so I tell folks that if you're under the age of 1, so you have small children, you're pregnant, or you're an older adult, or you're immunocompromised, these are higher risk populations. And so if your symptoms don't get better, if they're getting worse, if you start to feel severely dehydrated, dizziness, things of that nature, if you're having trouble keeping your liquids down, see the doctor.
And when it comes to these other things that are going around, what's the general consensus right now in the area as far as, a spike is concerned, or what people really need to be aware of?
During the winter months, these things are common. Right now you've got the human metapneumovirus, you've got COVID, you've got flu, you've got norovirus. These things are just going around this time of the year. Do your best to protect yourself. So if you're traveling, keep hand sanitizer with you if you can. Remember, soap and water is going to be best. Try to avoid high concentrated areas. If people are coughing and sneezing, maybe try to avoid those certain positions. If you've got family members that are older or younger or pregnant and you feel sick, I would encourage trying to avoid spending too much time indoors or close to them if you feel sick, because you could spread it to them.
And that norovirus seems like it spreads very easily. So, all right.
Highly
Dr.
contagious.
Pinchel, thank you so much again. And we look forward to seeing you again soon to get some more health updates, and be well.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. All right. Like we mentioned, we do have a little bit more news to tell you about. There is a Costco cold medicine recall underway. So speaking of that medicine cabinet, like Dr. Pinchel was talking about, good things to be stocked up on, check your medicine cabinet for the Kirkland Signature brand Severe Cold and Flu Plus Congestion Medicine, because it was sold nationwide from October 30th through November 30th last year. So if you're like me, things might sit around in the medicine bucket for a while. And the consumer alert is a recall over fears the packages might be contaminated. Now, you can return it for a full refund, so no worries there if you do need to get a refund or an exchange on that. Now we want to tell you about those cars, because Crystal was telling us that Consumer Reports is out with its latest and greatest analysis of the best car brands based on several pillars, including, safety, reliability, as well as new and used. So here's Crystal with more from Consumer Reports.
Consumer Reports engineers and automotive experts put every car it buys through more than 50 tests.
Is everything, from acceleration and braking and high-speed maneuvers on the track.
Consumer Reports compares over 250 models on road performance, comfort, reliability, owner satisfaction, and safety. And testing doesn't end at the office.
We live with these vehicles every single day. We take them home. We drive them on public roads. We put our families in them. We go to the grocery store. We use all of this data combined with our survey information to figure out who makes the best cars.
Among the 32 brands in Consumer Reports' 2025 report card, the top 5 remain unchanged from last year. With one significant shift, Subaru claims the top spot. One reason? Reliability.
When they design or redesign a new model, they tend to iterate on last year's models. And this approach tends to lend itself towards good reliability because they work out the kinks, so to speak, over time. On top of that, their vehicles perform well in our testing.
Also making the grade, BMW, Lexus, Porsche, and Honda. Dodge, GMC, Land Rover, Rivian, and Jeep were ranked at the bottom.
Even top scoring brands can have vehicles that don't score so well. So it's really important that you do your research and you check the ratings for the vehicles that you're specifically interested in.
Hey, and you have the auto show going on at Kissimmee right now, so maybe you want to go check that out too if you're a car enthusiast. But good luck if you're on the hunt, because you know that it is hard to find exactly what you're looking for these days and at the price you want. But Consumer Reports also rank the brands that make the best used cars, including Lexus, Toyota, and Mazda. All those full rankings and details are on clickorlando.com/insider. As always, it's free to be an insider, so sign up if you haven't, and you can always get access to content like this, which is valuable. The Consumer Reports information is not free technically, so go ahead and check that out if you have not. It's always free at clickorlando.com/insider. That's going to do it for us. We'll be back at noon with more news and weather. Hope you have a great day and stay warm.